Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, what's going on in our country, and how we're going to fix both of them together because the remedy is the exact same: freedom and patriotism. Let's go, baby. All right, the content that we're going to talk about today. Oh man, you guys are pissing some senators off, and I'm here for it. Apparently, last night, someone did a video in the space of like payback zone, John Cornyn ain't gonna happen, along with a lot of other creators. And the GOP senators did not like the attention that was brought to them. Newsflash, there's going to be more, and they're still going to be pissed because this is our Senate, not theirs. Everything will be linked in the description box below. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on if you want to spread this freedom from coast to coast and border to border. And thank you in advance for that consideration. And for the record, I'd like to say one more time, hell no to John Cornyn. I hope that he forever finishes his career and goes to sleep saying the phrase Senate Bipartisan Safer Communities Act over and over and over again until he falls asleep. His little version of counting sheep. Because no Senate Majority Leader for you, at least when it comes to my opinion. Now, of course, you guys can let me know what you think in the comments below. And this content is brought to you by SDI, Sonoran Desert Institute. Guys, a lot of you out there like to upgrade and modify your own guns. So why wouldn't you do it from a hobby into a career? Make some money at something that you love. Sonoran Desert Institute, they have online courses. You do everything from your house. Gunsmithing, woodworking and finishes, ballistics, drones, shooting sports management. There's something for everybody. And guys, again, your hobby into a passion, into a career. You can't ask for more than that. There's links in the description box below, and thank you to them for making this content possible. But right now, my friends, brothers and sisters, patriots across this incredible nation, we have got to talk about a Politico article because apparently the GOP apparatus has activated and they are not happy about all the pressure put on their dearly darling internal elections for the majority speaker or majority leader of the Senate, rather. Yeah, they don't like when you poke and interlope in their affairs, even though it's our Senate. Anyway, here we go. Politico. There is now internal backlash building against the conservatives vocally supporting Rick Scott for Senate Majority Leader. The bulk of the Republican rank and file is not pleased. Good. At all. Good twice. We spoke with one senator who was aghast at the effort, as well as a GOP aide who said the campaign is pissing off senators whose votes Rick needs to win. Senators do not take kindly to having an army of social media trolls attack them. Trolls. Do you mean the people who gave you the mandate, gave you the Senate for 53 senators, probably the highest in 20 years? Those trolls? Or are you talking about the trolls who voted for the House to go red and for Trump to win every single swing state? Which trolls are you talking about? Because I would call those voters. I'm sure you guys would as well. You can let me know what you think in the comments field right down there. But this is said pretty well right here at the end. Eric nails this one, and then I'll show you the actual article. There's a lot more in there. There is nothing more enraging than our own elected officials telling us we are wrong to support someone who is in line with the president-elect who just won the popular vote and over 300 electoral college votes. Dead on, right on target. But we're going to go back into our roots a little bit here, beautiful people of freedom. You remember how we always say that the media will always tell you what they're afraid of, and you'll always know you're over the target by what they do? Yeah, here you go. Check this out from Politico. By the way, Politico's far left. Just saying. Playbook. The Rick Scott backlash builds. As you can see, this came out this morning. The vote that Mitch McConnell snuck in on the schedule to replace himself by another elitist, another establishment, put for Wednesday at 9:30 Eastern time. So we're just going to go ahead and draw a lot more attention to it since they don't like it. But notice how Politico's out here ready to say it doesn't matter. Watch this. Just days, I'm doing it right up here first, lead in here. Just days after celebrating Trump's thundering presidential victory, top MAGA luminaries this weekend set their sights on swinging another election, winning the top Senate leadership in a post for Rick Scott. Now, Rick Scott's from Florida, and I'm not going to say that he's amazing on 2A because he's not. He's got red flag laws in his history, and he's got raising the age of ownership. Or purchasing rather. I'm not a big fan of that. However, I do know that one thing's for dang sure is John Cornyn is a hard no. Anyway, Elon Musk, Tucker Carlson, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Vivek Ramaswamy, and Charlie Kirk, one by one, each declared that Trump's election romp, that's right, necessitates a complete overhaul atop the Senate GOP. It does get rid of the establishment. Fingering the Floridian as the perfect man for the job. This is Rick Scott. My favorite part of this article, spurning John Cornyn. Good. Spurn him harder. Safer Communities Act. Senate, bipartisan, Safer Communities Act. Your fault. I hope it's the stumbling block so you never get Senate majority. Anyway, let's continue. The more establishment type considered the frontrunners in this race. Establishment is the problem. Establishment is what we don't want. That's why this is happening, but they're big mad using Politico to deliver their thunder. Watch this. This morning, we have a news flash for Scott's overzealous allies. Congratulations, your campaign appears to be backfiring badly. Interesting that the Politico far-left article or far-left outlet would be saying it's not working, but the entire point of the article is it's working. Anyway. Things took a turn around 7 p.m. yesterday when MAGA YouTube star Benny Johnson posted a purported whip count to his 3 million follower X account. You can decide for yourself just how credible a list that counted Thune as voting for Cornyn might be, but it had the intended effect. The rather sleepy Senate leadership race quickly went from 0 to Mach 10 among the online right. Yeah, because we know your games. We know how you do this. We know your tricks. We are on it. That's why we're pushing. That's why we're making noise. That's why it went from, what would they say? Rather sleepy Senate leadership race to Mach 10? Yep, overnight. And we're going to continue it right now. I've got a letter being processed on the website, which we're all going to sign and send to every single one of these. We're getting in this fight. Anyway, let's continue. MAGA posters began targeting the GOP senators listed as backing Cornyn or Thune, with some, including Trump social media guru Dan Scavino, sharing old clips of the pair criticizing Trump, while others openly threatened primaries and called senators traitors. I'm down for primaries. You don't do what the people want, get primaried. That's easy. Now, I do really love that they're playing old clips of them completely bashing Trump and the MAGA movement and all the conservatives for the more establishment norms and middle. Yeah. That's the problem. Their establishment. That's why Mitch McConnell snuck this vote in at 9:30 Eastern time on Wednesday. He's trying to do it quickly, but we caught it. So now we're going to make a heck of a lot of noise about it. Let's continue. Let's talk more about how the Politico says this doesn't matter at all, but they had felt the need to do an entire article about it. There's just one problem. There's probably no group of Republicans more insulated from an outside pressure campaign than the 53 senators and senators-elect who will be voting Wednesday on Mitch McConnell's replacement. And this really kind of goes to my point that I said a moment ago. They'll always tell you what they're afraid of. You'll always know when you're over the target. Because this entire article is written to say, you know what, we're so pissed that you guys would dare meddle in our affairs in the Senate leadership votes, even though it represents you. So, in fact, it's so egregious, and we're so pissed off that it doesn't even matter because they're so well insulated. Really? Then why do the article? Why put out that they're pissed off? If it doesn't matter and it has no effect, why do an entire article trying to throw ice water on it? Because you would think that if it had no effect and it didn't matter and there was no impact, then there'd be no need for an article. Once you learn their games, it's easy to play their games. Anyway, let's continue because we are going to win this for freedom. But the bulk of Republicans' rank and file is not pleased at all. We spoke with one senator who was aghast at the effort. You can be as aghast as you want. As well as a GOP aide who said the campaign is pissing off senators whose vote Rick needs to win. Senators do not take kindly to having an army of social media trolls attack them, the aide texted us last night. They can take kindly of whatever the heck they want. They were put there by us to do the bidding of us in our Senate and our representative government. They're not there for themselves. They're not there for their clubs. They're not there for their Senate. They're not there for their letterhead. They're not there for their prestige. They're there for us. And they get all pissed when we say, we don't like you. We want somebody else. Vote what we tell you to do. Yeah, no, that's their jobs. This is part of the establishment arrogance and the egotism that got everyone kicked out. So I'm going to jump over to something really quickly. Trump is getting involved on this as well. And this is truly interesting because this is a pretty masterful political play here. Trump calls on GOP senators vying to be majority leader to agree to recess appointments. So that's what he wants, right? He wants the ability to have recess appointments. But he's not endorsing any candidate. In fact, he made all three say, we'll do it. So effectively what happened was Trump said, I want this from the person that would lead the Senate. And all three top contenders said, oh yeah, absolutely, that sounds like a great idea. And Trump didn't have to endorse anybody. He gave nothing, he got everything. Go team. All right, let's continue. Let me show you here. The suggestion was somewhat curious, talking about the recess appointments. Recess appointments are something that come into play when there aren't 51 Senate votes for a nominee, not when your party is on track to hold 53 seats in the vice presidential tiebreaker. And this is the funny part. Politico actually thinks you're stupid enough to believe that all 53 Republican senators are all Republicans. You know, like, Susan Collins in Maine, and Murkowski from Alaska, because those aren't Republicans. Those are rhinos. Those are Democrats with R behind their name because they're in Republican districts. So for Politico to go, they've got 53. Why do they even need this? It's not even because we know your games, and we're here for it because we're playing it now. That's the point. Trump wants to recess appointments because he can get to 51 pretty easy. He doesn't need 53 because, again, the rhinos. He experienced that his first term. Still, the power play immediately produced results. All three candidates quickly signaled they were open to the idea. That's the point. Ultimate win for Trump. He gives up nothing. He gains everything. You guys still think he's a buffoon and an idiot? I'm not saying anything other than the fact that that's a really impressive play because, again, he gave up nothing to get everything. Just saying. But the bottom line here is it doesn't really matter, guys. All you're doing is pissing them off and making them emotional. But again, it doesn't matter. So that's why we're going to write the entire article about how it doesn't matter that you're pissing them off and title the entire thing How Angry and It Backfired. But it doesn't matter. Guys, they will tell you every single time what they were afraid of. You will always know what you're over the target, and we are going to kick them right in the political gonads, as we have said many, many times. Again, I'd like to reiterate, hell no to John Cornyn. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Link in the description box below. See you later.